as professors at the University of Tennessee Space Institute. She started ERC Incorporated in 1988 after taking early retirement from teaching. Business grew slowly but steadily over the years. The company landed contracts with the U.S. Army, the Air Force, and others. In 2000, Dr. Wu suffered a stroke and made a decision to step down as president and CEO. She persuaded her oldest son, Dr. Ernie Wu, to leave Harvard University, where he was doing research, to assume the duties of president and CEO. Today, Dr. Susan Wu continues to serve as the company's chairman. Dr. Wu shares her love of math by tutoring her homeschool grandchildren. Can you imagine getting homeschooled by you? I'm going to have to get your number just in case I'm having trouble. That's incredible. Please help us welcome to the stage tonight's honoree in our technology category, Dr. YCL Susan Wu.
I want to thank the WEDC Foundation and WEDC for this honor and recognition. By the way, I'm too short here. Actually getting shorter as I get older. And I also want to thank Blake Catilo to nominate me. Actually, teaching my grandchildren turned out to be a whole lot harder than I thought. I couldn't remember what I learned before. Now they're learning, I never learned before. Never know anything about number theory. But anyway, I really enjoyed that opportunity. There are many people I would like to thank for. Those whom I have worked with, be friends with, and have learned from. They have made a big difference in my success, in my career. And certainly my life, my family, I really want to thank them for their patience, love, and tolerance for my busy life. I obviously didn't do a very good job in being there with them. But most of all, I want to thank my husband, Dr. Jimmy Wu. We met at 9th grade and have been together ever since. His encouragement and support have been crucial for whatever I have done. My story probably a little different from everybody else. First of all, I wasn't born here. And you probably can tell from my accent. In fact, my speech has been rewritten by both my sons because my English was too poor. I was born in Beijing, China in 1932. That was quite a while ago, which was, at that time, China was in a very turbulent time. Japan had invaded China. Right after the war, the Second World War, Civil War started. My family moved to Taiwan in 1947, seeking a better and safer life. My childhood experiences had led me to believe that the problems existing in China at that time, backwardness, extreme poverty, and war, were partly due to the lack of industrialization. I decided that I wanted to be an engineer to help China build her industry. And that's when right after we moved to Taiwan, I was 8th grade. Obviously, I didn't know enough, things are not that simple. And another thing, I was not aware that women are not supposed to be engineers either. In 1955, I was the only woman to graduate from the National Taiwan University in mechanical engineering. I came to the United States to pursue advanced studies in aerospace engineering at Ohio State University. I completed my MS degree in the summer of 1959 and married Jimmy. We settled in Pasadena, California, and started our PhD program at Caltech. I remember thinking, what a dream come true. That was a really wonderful summer. Before Thanksgiving, I started feeling sick. Initially, I thought I had a flu. Vomiting, tiredness, and then guess what? After the initial excitement, we were faced with a problem. What do we do now? Caltech is one of the toughest schools in the world. And I did not know whether I could handle both the hard course load as well as starting a family. After a hours-long soul searching, I decided that if there's anything that may happen, has signs that adverse to my baby, I'll quit school, because motherhood is my primary responsibility. Getting PhD is secondary. So Jimmy fully supported my decision. Our son Ernie came in July 1960. Some people don't learn very fast. Guess what? Came the next year. You know what? In Taiwan, we never had sex education. In 1962, 1 year before completing my PhD, it was discovered that I had a congenital heart defect. The cardiologist recommended surgery to repair a hole that between the two chambers of my heart. And he suggests that I should have surgery as soon as possible to prevent any further deterioration of my heart and lungs. I had open heart surgery in 1964. That's almost 50 years ago. And the recovery was long and difficult, but eventually I recovered. I had a pretty healthy life until the early 1980s. My husband finished his degree in 1965, actually 2 years after me, because he had to quit school for 2 years to support our family. I couldn't find a job because at that time nobody wanted to hire a pregnant woman. Maybe today it's the same way, I don't know. So we decided to leave Southern California. And part of the reason was Ernie had a very serious allergy from smog. As we were both offered a teaching position at the University of Tennessee Space Institute in Tullahoma, which is about 65 miles south from here. Both my husband had very wonderful careers in Tullahoma. In 1969, one other wonderful things happened in Tullahoma. Our daughter Karen joined us. My responsibilities expanded in Tullahoma beyond being a professor. I was also responsible to managing a very large multi-million-dollar contract from the Department of Energy, doing research in magnetohydrodynamic power generation. You don't have to worry about how to pronounce it. The short name is MHD. Mental Health Division? That's not a joke, but anyway. In I was hospitalized for irregular heartbeat, and partly because my workload was very heavy. After extensive testing, the cardiologist concluded that the scar tissues from my heart surgery was interfering with my heart conductions. The doctor prescribed medication and also advised me to reduce my workload. I took the medicine, but did not take his advice. In 1987, Karen was a junior in high school. I turned 54. I started to think, after he entered college, my home life responsibilities would be reduced. It would be an opportunity to try something different, to change my career path. I decided to take early retirement from the University of Tennessee Space Institute and started ERC. I discussed my idea with Jimmy, who was initially shocked by the idea. But I explained to him that I want to do one other thing before I'm too old to work. And then he, as usual, Jimmy supported me regardless how crazy the idea would sound at first. So ERC opened its door in March 1988. I quickly learned about the power of cash flow. What happened? My gosh, I'm sure people in business all know that. But I didn't. And other business-related issues, I didn't know either. Because work for the state university, someone else took care of that. Like taxpayers. The stresses were detrimental to my heart. I fainted from stresses, from complications, partly due to stress and partly due to exhaustion during a trip to California. After I returned back to home, I was very weak. But my nature and belief in not to give up helped me to continue under adverse conditions. I had a frequent visit to the ER due to irregular heartbeats. I managed to hang in there. ERC started to grow, and we began to build our reputation. And before I knew it, 10 years has passed. Old age is not very good to health either. So I knew something's coming up. I just didn't know what. So I wrote to my children asking if any of them would come to take over the company. Ernie, being the oldest child, felt that if he didn't come, I probably would die on my desk. So he left his research postdoctoral position at Harvard in biology, moved to Huntsville with his wife in 1998. 18 months later, I had a stroke. And I decided that's the time for me to leave my professional life. Several times I encountered serious difficulties in life. Whether it's my own doing, like get pregnant, or with a bad heart, I didn't have anything to do with that. And all this event could stop or change my career path. My belief in not giving up gave me the strength to hang in there and continue. I know that not giving up does not guarantee success at the end. However, it gives me a fighting chance. As long as the game is not over, there is always a fighting chance. My advice to others, especially girls and women, is to please consider all of your options in front of you and hang in there, do not give up. Thank you for listening to me, and thank you. you for the great honor, WEDC Foundation and WEDC. Thank you.